Welcome back to Book Burst, and thank you for joining me for another in-depth exploration of a remarkable book. Today, we are delving into Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, a book that has touched the lives of millions since its publication. This book doesn't just offer theories. It provides profound insights into how we, as human beings, can find meaning in the most challenging and painful circumstances. In today's discussion, we are going to explore one fundamental question that the book poses. How can we find meaning in hard times? I know that this is something many of us struggle with, especially when we face adversity, loss, or moments of deep uncertainty. Frankl's experiences and philosophy give us powerful tools to navigate these difficult moments, and I hope by the end of this video, we will all have a clearer understanding of how to find purpose and strength, even when life seems unbearably hard. Let's begin with a bit of context about Viktor Frankl. Frankl was an Austrian psychiatrist and neurologist, but he is most known for surviving the Holocaust and using that horrific experience as the foundation for his theory of logotherapy. During World War II, Frankl was imprisoned in multiple Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He lost nearly everyone he loved, including his wife, his parents, and his brother. Stripped of everything, enduring starvation, disease, and brutal conditions, Frankl was faced with a question that would shape his life's work. How do we survive when everything we hold dear is taken away from us? The fact that Frankl not only survived but emerged with a profound understanding of the human condition is a testament to his resilience and insight. His experience in the camps led him to develop logotherapy, which is based on the belief that the primary motivation in life is not pleasure or power, as many other psychological theories suggest, but rather the pursuit of meaning. Frankl's core message is this: even in the most horrific situations, even when we are powerless to change our external circumstances, we still have the ability to find meaning and purpose. This brings us to the heart of today's discussion. How can we apply Frankl's philosophy to our own lives, especially in times of hardship? How can we find meaning when everything seems to be falling apart around us? Frankl's answer to these questions can be broken down into three key lessons that we can all take to heart. The first lesson is that we always have the power to choose our response to any situation. Frankl famously wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." This quote is one of the most powerful takeaways from the book. It reminds us that no matter what happens to us, no matter how dire or painful our circumstances may be, we still have control over how we respond. This idea may sound simple, but its implications are profound. Often, when we are faced with hardship, whether it's a personal loss, a failure, or a significant life challenge, it's easy to feel like a victim of our circumstances. We may think that everything is out of our control, and that can lead to feelings of helplessness and despair. But Frankl's philosophy challenges that mindset. He tells us that even when we cannot change our situation, we can still choose how we face it. For example, imagine you are going through a difficult period in your life. Perhaps you've lost a loved one, or you're facing a career setback. These are situations that, on the surface, we might have no power to change. But Frankl would encourage us to ask ourselves, how am I going to respond to this? Will I allow it to defeat me, or will I find a way to rise above it? That's not to say this is easy, far from it. But the act of choosing our response, rather than being consumed by the situation, is incredibly powerful. It is this act of choosing that allows us to regain a sense of control, even when everything else feels uncertain. In my own life, I've had moments where everything seemed overwhelming, and I felt like I had no control over what was happening. But I found that by shifting my focus to what I could control, my actions, my mindset, I was able to navigate through those tough times with more clarity and strength. And this is exactly what Frankl emphasizes: that our ability to choose how we respond is the key to surviving and even thriving through hardship. The second lesson from Frankl's book is the idea that there can be meaning in suffering. Now, this is a difficult concept, and it's one that many of us struggle with, especially when we are in the midst of pain. Frankl does not suggest that suffering is something we should seek out, or that it is inherently good. But he does argue that when we are faced with suffering that is unavoidable, we can find meaning in how we endure it. Frankl wrote, "If there is meaning in life at all, then there must be meaning in suffering. His own experiences in the concentration camps are a testament to this belief. Despite the horrific conditions he endured, Frankl found that those who were able to find meaning in their suffering, whether it was through a commitment to survive for their loved ones or to hold on to a sense of personal dignity, were the ones who were able to endure the unimaginable. It wasn't the absence of suffering that allowed them to survive. It was their ability to find purpose within it. So, how can we apply this to our own lives? None of us will likely experience the kind of suffering that Frankl did, but we all go through difficult times. Whether it's illness, loss, or even the day-to-day struggles of life, we are all faced with moments that challenge us. When we are in the midst of suffering, it's natural to ask, why is this happening to me? But Frankl would encourage us to reframe that question. Instead of asking, why me? We can ask, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow? I know this is easier said than done. When you're in pain, it's hard to see beyond the immediate suffering. But Frankl's point is that we have the potential to find meaning in the very things that challenge us the most. This meaning might come from the way we endure the pain, from the lessons we learn, or from the way we can help others who are going through similar struggles. The key is not to deny the suffering, but to find a way to transform it into something meaningful. The third and final lesson that I want to highlight from Frankl's book is the importance of having a goal or purpose to live for. One of the most famous quotes from Man's Search for Meaning is, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." This is a powerful reminder that when we have something to look forward to, whether it's a personal goal, a dream, or a commitment to another person, it gives us the strength to endure even the hardest times. In the concentration camps, Frankl observed that the prisoners who had something to live for, whether it was the hope of reuniting with family, the desire to complete an unfinished work, or a deep personal belief, were the ones who were more likely to survive. Their future goal gave them the strength to persevere, even when their present circumstances seemed unbearable. It wasn't the absence of suffering that sustained them. It was their connection to a purpose beyond their suffering. This lesson applies to all of us. When we are going through hard times, it can feel like there is no end in sight. But having something on the horizon, a reason to keep going, can make all the difference. It doesn't have to be a grand or lofty goal. Sometimes, the simple hope of being there for the people we love, or the determination to get through a difficult challenge, is enough to give us strength. The key is to find that why, that purpose that will keep you going, even when the how feels overwhelming. To conclude, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning teaches us that even in the darkest moments, we have the potential to find purpose. By choosing our attitude, by finding meaning in our suffering, and by holding on to future goals, we can navigate the hardest challenges life throws at us. These ideas are not just theoretical. They come from Frankl's own lived experience of enduring and surviving one of the most horrific events in human history. I hope this discussion has provided you with some insights and perhaps a new way of looking at the struggles in your own life. Hard times are inevitable, but as Frankl shows us, meaning can be found even in the midst of pain. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. How do you find meaning during difficult times? Let's continue the conversation and support one another through life's challenges. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who might need a little extra encouragement today. Until next time, keep reading, keep reflecting, and keep finding meaning in every chapter of life.